Good morning and welcome to the Facts Behind the Figures presentation by Living Trust Mortgage Bank PLC. I'd like to welcome the Managing Director, Living Trust Mortgage Bank PLC, Mr. Adekunle Adewale, and other members of the management team of Living Trust Mortgage Bank who are presently on the call. Thank you for joining in today. I'd also like to introduce the management team from Nigerian Exchange Limited. I will start by welcoming the Divisional Head Capital Markets, Mr. Jude Chiemeka. Divisional Head. Good morning and welcome to the Facts Behind the Figures presentation.
Thanks, Loretta. Good morning, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you to today's Facts Behind the Figures presentation of Living Trust Mortgage Bank PLC. On behalf of the board and management of the Nigerian Exchange Limited and the capital market community, I commend the management of Living Trust Mortgage Bank PLC for participating in today's event. The Facts Behind the Figures presentation provides our listed companies the opportunity to inform the market of their financial performance, as well as other strategic and operational developments. Today, we look forward to an interesting and fruitful interaction, which is vital for transparency, price discovery, and the overall performance of the stock of Living Trust Mortgage Bank PLC. Living Trust Mortgage PLC is one of the leading and fastest growing primary mortgage banks in Nigeria, based on profit growth and the share value of the company. The bank recently reported a turnover of 502.66 million naira in Q1 2022, up by 99.63% from 251.79 million naira reported the previous year. Profit after tax grew year on year by 145.12% to 247.12 million naira from 100.82 million naira reported the previous year. In its 2021 full year annual reports, the company reported a 149% growth in gross revenues from 625.6 million naira recorded in 2020 to 1.63 billion naira in 2021. In the same vein, its total assets increased by 81% from 6.3 billion naira recorded as at the end of 2020 to stand at 11.39 billion naira at the end of December 2021. This achievement is a result of the hardworking and resilience displayed by the management team, who continue to build and reposition Living Trust Mortgage Bank PLC to further deliver on its promise to be the foremost mortgage bank enabling sustainable housing by developing superior performance and leveraging technology to do that. We would like to recognize these efforts being made by the board and management of Living Trust Mortgage Bank PLC towards achieving continuity by improving business operations and restoring investor confidence in the company. At the Nigerian Exchange Limited, we remain consistent to our commitment to helping issuers deliver great value from their interaction with the market by positioning ourselves as the African exchange of choice. We continue to implement policies aimed at strengthening the corporate governance of our listed companies and providing products that are aligned to investors' requirements in a fair and orderly market. The exchange provides an efficient, liquid, and multi-asset securities platform that offers investors varied options, including equities, fixed income, derivatives, and other exchange-traded products, including mutual funds. We are committed to developing the Nigerian capital market by providing a market that thrives on innovation and responds to the needs of stakeholders in assessing and using capital. Our market continues to be resilient in providing stakeholders with a platform to raise capital and invest. Year to date, the NGX Exchange Limited has facilitated needed financing of over 3.31 trillion naira in capital raised by governments and corporates across various asset classes. Indeed, as an exchange, we have achieved increased efficiency in terms of competitive pricing structure, improved turnaround time to the market, and enhanced customer experience. We believe that it is our responsibility to strategically position ourselves to support the growth of our stakeholders. Third, we encourage Living Trust Mortgage Bank PLC to continue to strive for sustainability by upholding the highest levels of integrity and continually delivering value to all its stakeholders. We also commend the company for participating in this Facts Behind the Figures presentation, as this will help existing and prospective shareholders to gain greater insight into their operations and future growth plans of their company. I therefore use this opportunity to invite Living Trust Bank PLC and all our viewers to leverage the various benefits of listing on the exchange, including improved access to capital, increased global profile, and access to liquidity. We thank you, our guests, for your presence today and encourage you to participate fully during the interactive session. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to now invite Adewale Adekunle, Managing Director of Living Trust Mortgage Bank PLC, for his remarks.
Thank you very much, Jude. Thank you very much, NGX, for this great and wonderful opportunity. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we thank you for attending today's event, which is the opportunity that has been given to us by the market bows to present the facts behind our figures. As rightly introduced by Jude, we are a mortgage bank specialized in the business of making affordable housing available to Nigerians. We have been doing this for over 20 years, going to 30 years now, and we've been growing in leaps and bounds from year to year. We would reveal the numbers to you and, of course, the facts behind the numbers as we move to the next section of this event. On behalf of the board, management, and staff of Living Trust Mortgage Bank PLC, again, I thank you for setting time aside to attend this event today. I'm sure it's going to be worth your while. I'm sure it's going to be like an eye-opener for you to understand the facts behind the figures, to meet the people behind the bank. And for the investing public that are here today, I'm very sure that at the end of this event, you would want to participate in shares purchase. And for those who are already existing shareholders, I'm very sure you want to increase your stake in the bank. Again, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for your remarks. And thank you for taking out the time as well to present the facts behind the figures. Before we get into the presentation, I'd like to encourage all attendees to share any questions they may have during the presentation using the Q&A feature on their screen. Please share your questions and they will be answered at the appropriate Q&A session after the presentation. Thank you very much, sir. Over to you for the presentation.
Thank you, Loretta. I will share the screen, my screen now, and take it off from there. Okay, is my screen visible?
Yes, sir, it is.
Thank you. We would start with an introduction. We'll list the achievements, the financial performance, the strategy and our outlook, and of course, we share some appendices documents with you. Again, by way of introduction, Living Trust Mortgage Bank was incorporated in 1993. And in 2013, the bank was privatized by Osun State by raising additional capital of 1.65 billion naira. In 2014, the bank was listed on the Alternative Securities Market, the SM, of the Nigerian Stock Exchange, now NGX. And in 2020, Osun State further divested its holdings by allowing private sector participants to invest in the bank. Particularly, City Trust Holdings acquired majority stake in the bank, which ushered in the assumption of duty of a new management and a reorganized board. In the same year, 2020, the bank migrated from the SM board to the growth board of the NGX. Also in the same year, the bank changed name from Omoluabi Mortgage Bank to Living Trust Mortgage Bank PLC. And in this year, 2022, there is an ongoing recapitalization plan or program towards obtaining a national mortgage banking license before the end of the year. We're primarily licensed to carry out the business of residential, commercial, and estate development financing, amongst other financial services. And in 2020, the Central Bank of Nigeria gave the bank an approval to commence the financing of micro, small, medium enterprises businesses. The bank operates from 3 physical branches located in Osogbo, Ilesha, and Ejigbo, respectively. But as we know, information technology has made it such that we are able to reach out to all our customers all through the world using IT. Within the last 29 years of our existence, the bank has wholly and partly financed not less than 20 modern estates, 10 amongst which were financed within the last 2 years. This shows you the quantum size of geometric growth in the past 2 years. And that's under the resumption of the new management driven by private sector participation. In the process, we provided decent and affordable accommodation to over 10,000 Nigerians. The bank has maintained consistency in profitability in the last 5 years. However, the bank's profitability has increased by over 500% in the last 2 years, making it one of the most profitable mortgage banks in Nigeria. This led to gains in the bank's share price, rising from 62 kobo in Q2 2021 to 1.20 kobo at the end of Q1 2022. We have an array of products, bespoke products, tailor-made towards provision of residential mortgage. We also collaborate with the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria to assess National Housing Fund loans, which are loans that are availed at an interest rate of 6%. We are very active in this scheme, and through that, we've actually helped a lot of Nigerians to achieve their housing dreams. We also have what we call the home improvement loan. This is for those that have already built their houses, but need to renovate or to probably re-equip. We provide loans to this category of customers too. We have estate development loans that are availed to, of course, pre-qualified estate developers who develop estates and later sell to Nigerians. We also provide mortgages for the buyers. We have government employee loans. These are loans designed for civil servants as well as those in paid employment. And of course, we have MSME retail loan. This we disburse as all lenders with collaboration with the Development Bank of Nigeria. We have been able to reach in the last 1.5 years over close to 1,000 beneficiaries in the nook and cranny of majorly Osun State with this loan. And it has really been very beneficial to the people, and it has actually helped the developmental progress of the state. I will now talk about operating environment. We operate in a VUCA environment, a very volatile environment, which we are all aware of. In the last 6 years since we were listed on the exchange, inflation has jumped. Inflation year on year has jumped from 8.05% to 17.71%. GDP growth rate has slowed down from 6.3% to 3.11%. Dollar exchange rate, official rate, has gone almost 300% higher from 157 in 2014 to 415 as of today. Crude oil prices have remained almost stable or static from 93 to 126. And unemployment rate has skyrocketed from 9.7% in 2014 to 33.3% as at today. Now, if we bring it down to house sector, in 2014, a bag of cement sold for 1,000 naira. Today, it ranges from between 3,009 to 4,200. That's about 400% inflation. Natural materials that are used for construction, sharp sand, soft sand, has also grown, risen in price from 22,000 to 70,000 for a 20-ton truck. Iron rod has risen in price from 140,000 in 2014 to 420,000 in 2022. And finishing materials have risen in price from 1,400 naira in 2014 to 2,500 to 3,000 naira in 2022. Also, our environment is volatile. As I said, we live in a VUCA environment. It's volatile too. There is insurgency in the country. Insecurity is gone beyond what anyone could imagine. We've also had some government policies that have really slowed down our growth, elongated justice delivery process, prohibitive cost of securing land titles if you're able to get at all, non-de-risk of financial services sector, complex land administration system, which seriously affects our subsector. Also, regulation by our regulators. For instance, there is a cash reserve requirement that we are expected to meet up with, even though, unlike for commercial banks, we don't derive any benefits by keeping our cash with CBN. There's no overnight window if we need to borrow overnight, yet we keep our funds there and it's just static, and it's sterile, and we don't derive any benefit from that. We also have some limitations in our ability to serve our customers on our e-channels, because for a lot of the e-channels we have to subscribe through a commercial bank, not directly through the switches, not directly through the operators, and this presents a lot of limitations. Of course, price instability cannot be overemphasized. Within these limitations, the bank has been resilient. The bank has been very bullish in driving our numbers. We grew our total assets by 54.9% in 2021 and by 30.6% as at half year 2022. We've grown PBT consistently to a peak of 531 million as at our published unaudited numbers as at half year 2022. This is 72.4% growth over 2021, over the same period 2021. Then our membership, our shareholders list has grown to 245, adding about 146 from the number we were as at 2021 too. We've declared and paid dividends each year since resumption of the new management. And as at year 2021, we had a 60% payout ratio, dividend payout ratio, by paying dividend of 306 million. We've deployed several e-channels, allowing customers to bank with us remotely. We have a strong regulatory rating and positive corporate governance evaluation. We've always maintained that consistently. We've been filing our returns at the exchange consistently. We have never paid any fines to the exchange. Our regulatory sanction has also been nil because we've always kept within the rules and provisions of our regulators. We've received several industry and international awards. We've also held our AGM consistently, despite all these limitations. To drive home the point in the area of our financial performance, from 2014, when we listed on the exchange, to now, as at 2014, our total asset was 2.856 billion. As at 2022, this has grown to 11.72 billion. Loans and advances rose from 670 million in 2014, post-listing, to 9.36 billion as at H1 2022. Our deposits grew from 196 million in 2014 to 7.52 billion in 2022 half year. Share capital has remained the same, while shareholders' funds grew from 2.52 billion to 2.92 billion. Our gross earnings grew from 2.255 million in 2014 to 1.627 billion in 2021 and 1.1 billion as at H1 2022. PBT rose from 62.7 million in 2014 to 676 million in 2021. And as at June 2022, we posted a profit before tax of 531 million. These are graphical representations of the numbers I've just given us. Our growth have been mainly driven by increased market coverage and customer acquisition, improved customer experience, deployment of active e-channels under a brick and click model, collaboration with development financial institutions, efficient cost management strategies, and effective corporate governance. In terms of ratios, these are some of the ratios that succinctly describe the numbers that have already been presented. For our ROE, return on equity, this grew from 2.51% in 2014 to 23.34% in 2021 and 21% as at end of June 2022. Our earnings per share also grew from 0.10 kobo in 2014 to 11.47 kobo in 2021 and 10.62 kobo as at half year 2022. Our cost to income ratio, which I will proudly and gladly describe as one of the best in the entire banking industry, has been improving consistently from 175% in 2014 to 49.78% in 2021 and 41% as at H1 2022. This simply implies that for every 1 naira we make, we are able to return about 60 naira as profit. And our not performing loan ratio has also been going southwards, which is the desired direction. Our target is 0%. However, as of June 2022, we did 2.31%. December 2021, 4.2%. And in 2014, when we were listed, we were on 21%. This takes me to our strategy and outlook. As I earlier mentioned, we have a robust board comprising of 3 independent directors, 3 executive directors, including the managing director, and 5 non-independent directors with diverse background and experience in investments, economics, management, accounting, finance, telecoms, information technology, public admin, business administration, and sciences. The 3 independent directors were onboarded to strengthen corporate governance, transparency, and operational oversight. And we have 4 standing committees, board committees. We have the Risk and Audit Committee. We have the Nomination and Governance Committee, Credit and Investment Committee, and then the Statutory Audit Committee, the committee that represents the interest of the shareholders. These are the faces of some of our directors, and as I said, we have 10 in number in all. these are some of the these are some of our strategic resource areas. Excuse me. We are open. Excuse me, a little glitch here. Just a moment, please. Yes, having secured the approval of relevant authorities, we are hoping to recapitalize the bank to be able to obtain a national mortgage banking license. This will enable us to expand our footprints, our physical footprints in very critical markets in Nigeria, as in we would be able to physically move beyond Osun State to other very viable markets in Nigeria. We would also continue to boost our capacity by forming strategic alliances with counterparties that are also in the business of funding reliable and affordable housing products. We would continue to improve on our product and service offerings by enhancing our product bouquet, bespoke products designed towards the needs of individuals and corporate organizations that we presently serve and that we would serve in the not too distant future. In terms of opportunities, we're glad to inform this gathering that many states are now passing the model mortgage foreclosure law. This will reduce risk and enable us to operate in more places. And with the 20 million housing deficit currently being experienced in Nigeria, there would be a continuous and a huge demand for our products now and in the foreseeable future. Government will also take advantage of government housing initiatives, such as 70,000 homes to be built in 2022 under the National Social Housing Program, 1,800 incremental housing program for low-income earners, 4,000 student accommodation and CBN for support from family-owned funds. In fact, at the moment, we are about to have the groundbreaking ceremony for a collaborative effort between us, the Osun State government, and the family-owned funds for the provision of 5,000 housing units for low-income earners in Osun State. We will take advantage of the regulatory policies to de-risk the sector, such as the global standing instruction, the direct debit mandates, all initiatives of the Central Bank of Nigeria. We will also continue to, as I said, collaborate with counterparties like the Nigerian Mortgage Refinance Company that finance our liquidity, and then, of course, the Nigerian Mortgage Guarantee Company that is about to be set up. We are also hopeful that the Central Bank of Nigeria, through engagements we've been having through the Mortgage Banking Association of Nigeria, review the permissible activities of primary mortgage bank to allow other products like rent-to-own, non-interest finance, diaspora mortgage products, etc. And our focus will continue to be the leading primary mortgage bank in Nigeria, especially in respect of profitability, customer satisfaction, digital innovation, and market space, through the attraction and retention of top-notch professionals, deployment of modern technology, and efficient deployment of resources towards creating value for customers, shareholders, employees, and the communities that we serve. And our goal this year is to maintain a non-performing loan of less than 1%, cost-to-income ratio of less than 40%, return on equity of greater than 25%, and the weighted average cost of fund of less than 10%. In terms of our projections, as of today, on total assets, we're at 0.72%. We are projecting a cautious growth to about 17.55% by December 2022 and 25.5% by December 2023. Loans and advances, we're looking at growing from today's numbers of 9.35 billion to 14.3 billion by December 2022 and 21.25 billion by December 2023. Investments, we're looking at a growth from 97.6 million to 500 million in 2022 and 1 billion in 2023. For customer deposits, we're looking at a growth of 7.52 billion in 2020, that where we are at the moment, to 7.55 billion in 2022 and 10.7 billion in 2023. Share capital, we're looking at growing from 2.5 billion to 5 billion in both 2022 December and 2023. Shareholders funds presently at 2.92 billion, projected at 6 billion by end of this year and projected at 6.7 billion by end of 2023. Earnings, as of now, we've done 1.19 billion. We're looking at closing the year at 3.13 billion and projecting 5.2 billion for year 2023. Profit before tax, as of now, we've done 531 million. We're looking at closing at 1.21 billion by year end 2022 and 3 billion by 2023 year end. And these are some of the awards we have won. These are the faces of some of our management staff. These are some of the estates we have financed. As I said, both low cost and high-end estates. In Oshogbo, this Oshun Mall. In Lagos, our tentacles spread as far as Lagos, Akwa Ibom, Abuja, where we have we've been able to assist Nigerians in the realization of their own needs. These are developments, high-rises in Lagos for God-made homes. And I will close by saying that a good time to invest in us was 2021, when our shares leaped from 67 kobo to 1.04 kobo. And the next best time to invest in us is now at 1 naira 20 kobo. We call on you to demonstrate faith in us and join our community as we build this great brand together towards generating unparalleled reward for all our stakeholders. Thank you very much, and God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Adekunle Adewale, for the presentation. We are happy that we've listened to the facts behind the figures presentation from Living Trust Mortgage Bank as delivered by Mr. Adekunle Adewale. He's the Managing Director of Living Trust Mortgage Bank PLC. Thank you very much, sir. So as we proceed into the Q&A session, I would like to encourage you to continue to share your questions. And without any further delay, let's get into the Q&A session. So we have a couple questions from anonymous attendees. The first question goes: following the release of the impressive results showing year-on-year growth in profits after tax, what opportunities are being explored to sustain the performance to continuously deepen mortgage penetration by the bank? So that's the first question by anonymous attendee. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Loretta. Thank you very much, the questioner, for the question. Yes, having sustained impressive results, we definitely will not stop there. As I said in my presentation, there are quite a number of plans and strategies we have lined up to, number one, sustain our results. Number two, even grow our results in leaps and bounds. And some of them are: one, we plan to recapitalize and become a national mortgage bank, which will give us the opportunity to have a physical presence in some of the major markets in Nigeria. Another thing we are doing as a brand is, of course, with the expected inflows from the recapitalization project, we will strengthen our IT infrastructure. And as I mentioned, we'll be able to reach out to in more locations so that we can continue to fulfill our dreams of providing affordable houses for Nigerians. The more we solve these problems, the more we are also able to continue to churn out impressive results. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for your response. We have questions from quite a lot of attendees. From Adedayo Ogunkoya, he's asking about 4 questions. The first one from him is: what is the interest rate on customer deposits? The second is: what is the minimum investments that can be invested in your equities? So we'll answer the first 2 and then we'll take the
Thank you very much, Loretta. The minimum interest rate for customer deposits as at date is 3.25%. But of course, deposit interest rates are priced based on tenor as well as the volume. Also, for equity, as I said, we are about to commence a recapitalization, a fundraising exercise. The memorandum is not out yet, but I can predict that being a retail focused institution. I think anyone that is interested in 100, 200 should be able to participate, of course, to any limit. So we are going to make it open for Nigerians. Number one, we're a retail organization. Number two, we believe that the more we have, the more vibrant we are going to be. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. So a question from Toyin Alasi. He or she is asking, do you have packages that helps employees own their own homes under the National Housing Fund? What are the timelines and where do we get further details?
Thank you, Toyin Alasi. Yes, we do. We collaborate with the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria to help Nigerians access the National Housing Funds. To access it, the easiest way to go about that now is you can go on our website and download the form there or speak to one of our customer service representatives. And the timeline, one, it depends on a couple of factors. It ranges between 3 months, 90 days, to 180 days, depending on a couple of factors, the documentation you are providing, and all that. So, and as I said, the interest rate is 6%. This is a very good opportunity. I believe all participants being those who pay their National Housing Fund withdrawals, contribution to the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So a question from Philip Isom. He's asking, how can an international investor get access to Living Trust shares?
Thank you very much, Mr. Philip Isom. As I said, we are about to raise funds, and once the memorandum is out, the placement memorandum is out, it's open to both individual, that's retail investors, as well as corporate investors to participate in the shares of the buy. It is going to be publicized, so I'm sure Mr. Philip would be able to get to know when this starts. But if he could be kind enough, he could drop his number. Someone will pick it from the chat box, and then we'll reach out to you after this engagement. Thank you.
Thank you for your response, sir. Kabiru Dandago is asking, do you consider collaboration or partnership with other state government-owned mortgage firms? I think we should take this in batches of 3 because there are lots of questions. So the first question from Dabiru Dandago is, do you consider collaboration or partnership with other state government-owned mortgage firms? Then anonymous attendee is asking 2 questions. 1, can we see all the properties available on your websites? And 2, what is your current interest on your mortgage loan? So those are 3 questions, sir. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Loretta, and thank you to our teaming participants for these very good questions. Yes, we are open to collaborating with partner institutions in helping Nigerians to achieve their housing needs. At the moment, we are in talks with another mortgage institution towards a syndicated arrangement to finance a housing estate, a low-cost housing estate for about 600 units. We are about rounding that up. So I also mentioned that we collaborate with other counterparties like the family-owned funds, Nigerian Mortgage Refinance Institution, and other counterparties. We are open to ideas, we are open to opportunities. So if he has such, he could reach out to us. We'll be very, very glad to explore it. Thank you. Also, the rate. I think someone mentioned something about the rates. We operate a risk-based pricing mechanism. So I would not be able to state the rate categorically because, of course, risk-based pricing mechanism is derived from a lot of risk metrics, which, of course, are not available to me at the moment. But in terms of range, we do between, for individuals, we do between 16 to 19%, depending on what our risk algorithms, tell us by the time we run the model based on the information supplied by the borrower. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your responses. So a question here from Michael Ogumbi. He's asking, what are the requirements for SMEs to access loans or form synergy with the bank to finance a project on a PPP plan?
Sorry, I didn't get that. To finance a project on?
Yeah, what are the requirements for SMEs to access loans or form synergy with the bank to finance a project on a PPP plan?
On a what plan?
I would think that is a public-private plan.
PPP.
PPP
Public-private partnership.
Partnership, yeah.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much. Our MSME loans disbursed through the Development Bank of Nigeria window is open to all MSMEs. And the major requirements, of course, number one, the major thing is the funds are meant for, they are ethical funds. They are meant for ethical projects. So for instance, we will not finance a core business, tobacco. We will not finance production of warheads, production of bullets, guns, and stuff like that. So that's the major, a major requirement. Once a customer scales through these orders, of course, subject to meeting our risk acceptance criteria, we are able to collaborate with such a customer for the actualization of such projects. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Mohammed Ibrahim is asking, how far have you gone with regard to registration with the Nigerian Exchange Limited? Even though I joined late, I don't know whether you have addressed that in your presentation. This is from Mohammed Ibrahim.
Thank you, Mr. Mohammed Ibrahim. We have been registered with the NGX, and I guess that's why we are here since 2014. We can only hope and aspire to grow from the growth board to the main board coming very soon. Thank you.
So from an anonymous attendee, this person is asking, from what you have said on the FHS, does it mean that an applicant must be a member of the Federal Housing Cooperative? And is this open to people in other states and employed in private organizations? Finally, what are the requirements for the acquisition of such loans?
Thank you very much. The FHF loan is open and available to all Nigerians from every walk of life. However, of course, availability or qualification criteria will be based on the participants being able to meet our risk acceptance criteria. Then in terms of participation, of course, for instance, if you are born in Katsina State and you live in Katsina State, and we are presently developing projects in Osun State, yes, you might be interested in Osun State, but reasonably, probably you are interested in Katsina State or any other state. We are also glad to introduce you. If you're not interested in the one we are doing directly, we are glad to introduce you to FHF, and they have projects all over. We are glad to introduce you to them so that you can take it up from them based on your choice location. But for us, we are starting with Osun State. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Mr. Charles Fakroa is asking, how can mortgage be made seamless and affordable? This is a very general question from Mr. Charles.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Charles. I would say today that, I will answer your question in two dimensions. Number one, affordability is always a matter of the cost of funds. We live in an environment where cost of fund is a bit on the high side. If CBN, for instance, is doing about 12.5%, whereas the Bank of England is doing about 1%, you can see the margin already that our environment interest rate is actually very high. And you would naturally expect participators or operators to have their own operational and their own profit margin. So that's why you're seeing our rates hovering from 16%, to like 18, 19%. In terms of seamlessness, I would say it's seamless as long as you are interested in an area that there is proper title. Once your root title is proper, it's actually seamless. You face issues, delays when there is no proper title. But the moment you are coming with a proper title, in a matter of weeks, you can apply and get your mortgage loan disbursed. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. We have a question from an anonymous attendee here. He's asking, what have been the challenges to the operations considering the difficult operating environment as a result of the global pandemic? What lessons have been learned?
Thank you very much, Sir Omar. Well, the operating environment is actually very challenging, as you mentioned. Just to mention an instance, as at early this year, we bought diesel at about 300, 350. Today, diesel is doing about 780, 800, 850, depending on your location. That was a jump that no one could have envisaged when we were designing our strategy or crafting our budget, early this year. However, we are not unaware of our environment, that it's volatile, it's uncertain, it's complex, and it's ambiguous. We are not unaware of this. And how have we been able to navigate ourselves through this? One, the major thing we do, the major thing I would pride us for is our agility. We are very agile. The moment the environment changes, we do an environmental scan and we respond immediately. Sometimes we don't even have to wait for a change to happen. We are able to predict a change. They say that the best way, to own the future is to be able to predict it. A lot of times as a management team guided by the board, we're able to sit down, predict what is going to happen in the environment, and we design our processes, our products, such that we are able to meet the future events so that when they occur, we are not caught unawares. Employing this strategy, we've been able to withstand most, if not all, the environmental pressures we've been getting. Thank you.
All right, so thank you very much. Still from an anonymous attendee. The question here is, it's a question following the previous one, actually. It says, what is the plan to realign the company's business model as the sector recovers from the impact post COVID-19 on operations?
Thank you very much, Loretta. As you said, it's flowing from the question we just dealt with. First, we have a sustainability model. We've been able to build our business such that we can withstand a lot of shocks, except probably the act of God. One. Two, we have a very dynamic management team, as well as a board that provides guidance. So our model also, we are very fluid, we're very agile. Our model is not cast in stone. If, for instance, we see the need for us to tinker with our existing structure, an existing model, an existing strategy, we don't waste time. We are very nimble. Our board is very approachable. Overnight, you can approach the board. We can summon an emergency board meeting if need be, and we'll respond almost immediately to any change in our environment. With that, we are able to weather the storms for those we are not able to predict. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. We have a question. This is a long one from Mr. Vincent Wani. He's asking, from your presentation, the company grew profits exponentially by over 500% over the last 9 years in a period where the building materials and land inflation is phenomenal. Moreover, poverty is on the increase in the economy. That should impact your business. So it would be nice to understand the drivers of your remarkable profitability in a period of high inflation and general economic downturn in the country.
Thank you very much, Mr. Vincent. Of course, the economic indices you've mentioned are very real, and we've also mentioned them in our presentation. How we've been able to thrive in this environment is principally due to the fact that we are very deliberate about it. What am I trying to say? One, even in this environment, we see opportunities. Anytime we see opportunities, we are always prepared. They say success is opportunity meeting preparedness. We are always prepared to immediately catch onto these opportunities before our competitors even realize that there is such an opportunity. So number one, that's our number one winning streak. Number two, we've been able to operate such that we are able to understand the needs of our customers, both existing and prospective. And the moment you are able to understand the needs of your customer as an institution, designing a bespoke product to meet the needs of such customers will not be difficult. The moment your product design is driven by need, the need to solve a problem, to sell such a product becomes as easy as selling hot cake or selling hot akara to a very hungry person. So we've been able to make our strategy this simple. It's not complicated. It's almost, in quote, stupid. So this has made it possible for us to be able to attend to all the needs of our customers, and in the process of attending to the needs of our customers, in the process of solving their problems, we are also able to make money in the process. Of course, this is aside the fact that we've grown our customer base geometrically in the last 5 years using the brick mortar model. Also, our operating structure is designed deliberately to be low cost. Where we do not need to put a bogus structure, we don't put a bogus structure. Where we only need to operate from an office, a 4-desk office, we operate from a 4-desk office. We don't put a bogus structure just to show people that we are there. So that's one of the reasons why we are able to, churn out one of the best cost-to-income ratio in the entire banking industry. Thank you, Mr. Vincent.
Thank you, sir, for your response. Baribo Dukori is asking a question. He or she is asking, talking about recapitalization, how will you ensure this process will not dilute the current market price of your share?
Thank you very much, Mr. Dukori. We know very little that share price is driven by a factor of demand and supply, probably the first law of demand. And our price has been growing in response to this law. By recapitalizing, we are almost confident. We can be confident. We can't be too sure because we don't produce the demand. We can only, for instance, even the supply, we don't produce the supply. This stock, these shares are in the hands of shareholders. But we are almost super confident that with the value we have, with the propositions we have, no one is going to dump our shares. Rather, it's always been in high demand. And by the time we bring in more shareholders, we believe the demand is even going to rise. So we see us rising rather than the share price going down. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Usman Salisu is asking, do you have non-interest model of mortgage loans that are based on Islamic ethics and principles?
Thank you, Mr. Usman. At the moment, no. But at the moment, we are also in conversation. We are also collaborating with a non-interest banking institution to make mortgage loans available to our customers. We took a meeting on this the last meeting we had on this was about a week ago, and we are very sure that in the next few weeks, we are going to roll out a product for this teaming, category of customers in this bracket. Thank you.
So I think we have just a few more questions left. I think Toyin Alasi is asking again, do you have an app? If not, are you considering this for ease of transaction with your company? Can a business person get a mortgage loan with you for any location in Nigeria?
Thank you, Madam Toyin. Yes, we do have an app. It's available on the Play Store, and it's called Trust Mobile. It's a very, very versatile app, and even another version, an upgrade is coming out soon. But the one we have at the moment is also very functional. And yes, we do avail mortgages to those either self-employed, entrepreneurs, or those working in not too formal organizations. As I said, we have a bouquet of bespoke products to meet the needs of every customer. Talk to us. We'll be able to design something that meets your needs. Thank you.
So this question kind of, it's following the app question, the previous question asked by Toyin Alasi. So it's asking, from an anonymous attendee, with the increasing dependencies on technology, how is the company leveraging technology to improve its reach and also further enhance its business offering? This is more general in the technology space.
Yes, thank you very much for this question. Yes, as I said in my presentation, that we operate a click and brick model. We have few bricks and a lot of clicks. We've been able to leverage technology to reach out to our customers. You'll be surprised to learn that we have customers. Of course, if I mention UK, that's just down the road there. But we have customers as far as Australia, that have been able to benefit, Nigerians that have been able to benefit from our product, of course, using technology. We're also not aware of the challenges posed by technology. We also have a very robust protection system to ensure that all our depositors' funds are safe at every point in time. Thank you.
Okay, so this seems like our last question for now. So this person is asking, it's also an anonymous attendee. Are there any strategies in place to drive revenue in line with projections for 2022? And how likely are these to be met? Can you talk us through these strategies?
Thank you very much. Our projections for 2022, the top line, gross earnings about 30 billion. The bottom line, PBT, about 1.1 billion. For the bottom line, which is the bottom line anyway, we've done about 532, 50% as at half year. We are very hopeful that barring any unforeseen circumstance, we are going to continue with this in this trajectory for the rest of the year. Talking about the strategy, I've mentioned, but I would recap again. One, we hope to recapitalize. We want to recapitalize so that we are able to increase our capacity to do business. We're able to increase our reach. We're able to increase our field, and we're able to increase our numbers in terms of the customers that we are able to service. Two, we have a very, very dynamic workforce, and we would continue to leverage on their abilities, training and retraining them to ensure that they are abreast of all the vagaries of our operating environment, and they are abreast of all the opportunities in the market. Number three, we would continue to drive our low-cost model. This has been our the mainstay of our success story so far. We will continue to drive our low-cost model. We would continue to drive such that our cost-to-income ratio moves from the present about 40-41% to sub 40%. So also, culture is something we take as very, very important at Living Trust Mortgage Bank PLC, because if I may borrow the words of one of the major management philosophers, he said, and I quote, that culture eats strategy for breakfast. So there is no strategy you put in place. So long as you do not have the right structure to drive it, you are just playing with yourself or playing to the gallery. So we are very, very conscious of ensuring that the right culture is enshrined in the organization. We at the moment run what we call a market-facing adocracy culture, and that we will continue to adopt, that we will continue to execute, that we will continue to deliver. And with this in place, we are very, very sure, and we're very, very hopeful of a consistent growth in our numbers. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for your responses to the questions. So we've come to the end of the Q&A session, and we thank you for providing suitable responses to these questions. In the absence of no further questions, I think we have Mr. Jude Chemeka on the call. He's back on here with us. I'd like to invite him for the closing remarks. Over to you, sir.
All right, thanks, Loretta. Let me just take this opportunity to thank the Managing Director of Living Trust Mortgage Bank PLC, Dr. Adewale Adekunle, and his team for providing clarity on their strategy. But more importantly, I believe that all the investors have all the information that they need to be able to take advantage of this growth phase that the company is currently pursuing. Thank you so much for taking our time to participate, and we do look forward to future engagements. Thank you so much, and do have a great day.
Thank you.